We are in the time for the application of the diversity visa lottery. People want to know, what is the difference between applying the diversity visa lottery using the passport book as a requirement or using the temporary passport? I'm just using this plain piece of paper because the temporary permit or emergency passport or temporary passport is just in the piece of paper like this one. What is the difference applying with this passport book versus the piece of paper which is called temporary passport? That is the first question. What happens if I win applying the DV lottery using temporary passport? And what is the difference if I win using the passport like this one? That is another question. Let's do that. Are there people you know, EBM, who have applied the V lottery using temporary passport and won the DV lottery and possibly went to the interviews at the US consular office and they were given the visas? Or what should I do if I find out to have won the DV lottery and I use the temporary passport? And the related question to that, is there any advantage if I use the passport book versus the temporary passport? Okay, I go ahead and apply the DV lottery without passport, and wherever I get it, I can just go ahead. Welcome everyone. This is EBM Ernest Brovas Makulilo, talking to you from here, Missouri, United States of America. First and foremost, you know the business is to go and subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you haven't applied for the diversity visa lottery, listen very careful. We know there is a requirement to use passport in the application for the diversity visa lottery. Don't ever try to apply for the diversity visa lottery without a passport. If you go to the internet cafe, cyber, whatever you call them, and you try to apply and you don't have the passport, some people, they do not know what they are talking about, or they do not know the regulations. They will tell, oh, just apply. When you get the passport, you just add that. Remember, some of the people in the cyber or internet cafe areas do not know the regulations, or some they know, but they want you to apply so that you can pay them. So you have to know, it's your responsibility to know the rules and regulations, the instruction for the diversity visa lottery. So before I go into the differences between the temporary passport and the full passport or the passport book, I have to take you back. You can understand the instruction number 7 of the diversity visa lottery clearly states as follows. You must have the valid, unexpired passport given by your country. Using the passport which is not valid, by not valid it means you can have passport which is not expired, but the country has decided to change the passport. For instance, in East Africa, we change the passport. Tanzania, for instance, those old passports, the green passport, are no longer in use. So even if your passport expiration date, let's say, is in the year 2028, but they are not valid, they are no longer into circulation, they are no longer in use, you cannot use that one to fly from one country to another. So those passports are not valid. So it has to be valid, it has to be unexpired. By expired means if you are applying today and your passport is going to expire tomorrow, you are allowed to use that passport because it hasn't been expired yet. Don't use the expired passport. Don't ask me, but my passport is expiring next year. Let's forget about next year. We are talking about today. The day you are applying for the diversity visa lottery, if the passport is not expired, you are good to go. So that is very important. And when you win, you will get the new passport. Don't worry, we'll talk about that. So let's go to the main questions I've posed. Are you allowed to apply using the temporary passport? Or what is the difference between temporary and this one? As I've said, it is a must to have the passport in order to apply a valid, unexpired passport to apply. There are only 3 exceptions where you are allowed to apply without a passport. 1, you are stateless. And you have to prove you are stateless if you win. Being refugee, doesn't mean that you are stateless. Stateless means on the birth, you are not claimed by any country, as that is your country of birth. Either, if you don't have that one, you have to go to another point or exemption, which is you must be coming from a communist-controlled country and you are unable to get passport from that communist-controlled country. Failure to that, you have to prove that no any African country is a communist-controlled country. So if you're from Africa, my friend, don't try. And the third option, you must have a waiver letter from either the Secretary of Homeland Security or Secretary of State of the United States of America. And obviously, in order to get that one, you must be already here in the US to get that one. So failure to have those exceptions, don't apply, because you'll be told to provide the evidence of what you are saying. If you don't have the passport because of the COVID restrictions, if you don't have the passport because of you are far away from your capital, or you don't have the money, or the country is very slow into getting the passport, that's your problem. So you must have the passport. So let's go. The temporary passport, which is a paper, and the passport book. These are both passports. Let's start with that. Both are the official documents given by your country. The bigger difference is expiration date, number one. This one, in most cases, especially in East Africa, expires after 1 year. This one expires after 10 years. So let me give you the quick, funny question. What if you have used already 9 years of this passport, 1 year left? What is the difference between this one? The duration will be the same, 1 year left. So don't question about this is not, oh, it's just going to expire soon. No. It's official passport given by your country. That you have to be clear. The difference is expiration date. That's number one. Number two, both can be used to travel international. International, it means going to a neighboring country, is international. The temporary passport you use in most cases in your neighboring countries because you have contracts. You have agreement. For instance, in East Africa, to travel from Tanzania, Kenya, Uganda, Sudan, and South Sudan, and Rwanda, you can travel with a temporary passport without any problem, because those are East African countries. You cannot use this one to travel in a country which needs you to have a visa stamp. I mean, when I say a visa stamp, I mean like this one. I mean like this one, the visa stamp. This is funny. When I go to Tanzania, I have to use a visa. So like this one, this is Kenyan visa, 5 years visa. So there is no place to put the visa stamp like those one into this one. So you cannot use this one to travel in many countries. It will restrict it to fewer countries compared to the passport book. But when you go to apply, they want passport number in the application. Write the passport number and the expiration date. The passport number for the temporary passport, it starts with a TP dash, then letters like TAE for Tanzania, and the numbers will be coming there. Letters and numbers. TP means temporary permit or temporary passport. If you put a TP and the rest of the numbers will be too many, will not be able to fit in the application. So TP is just an abbreviation, a code for your own country or wherever in your region. So don't use the word TP as abbreviation. You just put the letters and numbers after the word TP, which is abbreviation for temporary passport or temporary permit. You put the rest. So if you put the passport number of the temporary passport and the passport number of this passport book have no any difference, the US government in the lottery application only sees the passport number and the expiration date. Behind that, they do not know whether this passport is a temporary or is not a temporary. It's just like this passport can be expiring next year, just like the same as temporary passport expiring next year. So for them, there is no difference with that. They do not know which one is temporary. So in the selection, the purpose of the passport is to prove you are the legit person. You are not a scam. You are not using another person's ID. That is the only purpose. So in the selection process, you'll win based on the temporary passport. Is it allowed? Yes, because there is no difference in the eyes of the US government between one passport and the other. Yes, you cannot travel if you win with this one to come to America. Number one, it will be already expired. For instance, this is October. You are using this one. It's going to expire after 1 year. Results come out on May 7th. After results come out, people are starting to get interviewed the following year in October. After May, in October. So from October this year, you are applying to October next year when the interviews are starting. And possibly you will not have the interview in October because the case number will be the one determining whether you'll be eligible to be interviewed in October. The case number is determining when you are going to be interviewed. For instance, from Africa, from 0 or from 1 to 2000, you're going to be interviewed in October, then in November, December. So depending on the visa bulletin, which provides the case numbers, availability, and when they're supposed to be having interviews. So for that particular case, you might not hit interview in October, possibly in November or December or January. So this temporary passport will be already expired. Just like if you have this passport, which is expiring next year. So it will be the same. So what you need to do when you apply with a temporary passport or the passport which will be able to expire, or the passport which at the time you are going to fill the visa form doesn't have more than 6 months on the nearby the interview, you need to get the new passport, the passport book then. So whether you have this one is going to expire or temporary passport, you have to get the passport book, in new passport book. Someone asked, so are they going to transfer all the information from the temporary passport to the new passport? Yes and no. There are few data are going to transfer. Obviously, your name will be there. Place of birth will be there. But the passport number will be different. Even when your passport expires, you get the new passport, the passport number is different. The barcode will be different. So that's number one. Number two, the date of issue will be different. The expiration date will be different because that is the new passport. So that is, you need to know all those aspects. So they're not going to transfer, copy and paste of everything, the barcode, the passport number. No, you're getting the brand new and there is no problem. So when you win, when you are filling the DS-260, which is immigrant visa form, after winning the DV lottery, you will use the new passport in the information. Even this one is going to expire, you use the new one. If this one, you are going to get the new passport book, you are going to add using the new passport. But after submitting the visa form, when you are called for the interview, before you called the interview, when the department, Kentucky Consular Center, which is part of the Department of State, requests for the documents, you will send the old passport you used to apply and the new passport when they ask for documentation. And on the interview, you will send both, old passport and the new passport. And you go for them to the interview. They will use to prove that you are the same person who used the previous passport to apply, but now you have a new one, and the visa will be on the new passport. That is the passport, how it works. So they will go to prove that you were the one who applied, and you are going to be given the visa on the new passport, which has at least more than 6 months to apply. So when you are going to apply for the diverse visa lottery, make sure you are using passport. Whether it's a temporary passport, whether it is a 10 years passport, doesn't matter. As long as it is a government issued passport, unexpired passport, valid passport, you are allowed to use for application for the diverse visa lottery.